I don't have multiple monitors like some other people.
I have 3.
Loser.
All right, hold on. I gotta do this thing.
I'm poor. I have 2 screens in the same screen.
No agenda. It's not even up. Doesn't exist.
It's up on my side.
It's unfortunate.
Are we doing reactions to week 17 or what?
No, I literally sent you the fucking agenda.
All right, you run the show then.
And you ignored the fuck out of me.
I need something to talk about. This helps.
Fantasy, Bears dumpster fire, Caleb, polls, Packer week, done. That's the agenda.
I don't even know what.
He's not wrong.
We honestly don't even need to go too far into Packer week because it's going to be an absolute BF.
Do they have something?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Oh,
I think
bro,
we have a
you
shot.
are so delusional.
Of course I am.
LaFleur was hurt after the Vikings loss, and he said we gotta learn from this and come back and play better.
You know what he's going to do?
I-
He's going to take out his anger on us and beat the absolute
I know.
piss out
But-
of us.
In
But-
Lambeau, yes.
Yes, I understand. Aren't you going to that game? No, nobody? I thought someone told me they were.
No, I'm
I
poor.
wish. That'd be awesome.
But you have to understand, like,
Okay, it's gonna be cold and probably very expensive.
Those on Twitch, if you want to support us, Trio Positivity Podcast on YouTube, we are live right now. That's the only alert you're going to get. All right, I am ignoring Twitch now. We are going straight to start.
but like, we'll get into it. I
Mute.
don't want to talk later. I don't even have the numbers up. It's not like you fucking cut it for Spotify, anyways.
Well, I was going to this one, but you know what? Go fuck
Oh, yeah,
yourself.
sure you were.
Yeah, okay.
You know what?
Oh,
Fine,
sure.
fine, whatever. Whatever.
No one believes you, Boomer.
God, I fucking hate it.
Dude, when was the last time you cut one, huh?
Boomer,
October.
please.
So, the
be
beginning
fair,
of
I
the
was in
season
school.
you did one.
Hello. To be completely fair, I did not know what I was gonna say. I did want to say, we are dead. Positivity is dead. So I'm bringing this. I'm digging deep, people. I'm digging deep, just to say there's no agenda today, and Miller's taking over the show. Miller, what's up? What should we talk about today?
Welcome to the Trio of Positivity Podcast. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. And for the first time in the history of the podcast, we are officially streaming on Twitch, I think, maybe.
Why are you saying that? We weren't going to mix the two. That's not even the most important thing here. We have another guest.
Everybody knows who he is.
he's like a regular now.
No, it's kind of true. But getting to the matter, this is going to be a little different episode because yours truly is in the championship of his fantasy football game, currently up by 20 points with Jamar Gibbs playing Deebo Samuel. So the focus is on the game, not necessarily these losers. And yes, I mean losers because they all lose. They're not in their championships, so they're losers. But this should be a good episode. We're going to jump into the dumpster fire that is the Chicago Bears. Try to find some positive energy here because it's very few and far between, if I'm honest with you. As always, check out our socials. Don't know what they are, but you can go find us. Just type in Trio Positivity into Google. You'll find something, I promise. But other than that, boys, how we feeling?
That was the best intro this show has ever fucking had. I fucking loved every second of it.
Yeah, including we don't have any socials. Figure it out.
Our socials is when you figure it out, let us know.
We have a TikTok. Are we banned on TikTok? Something like that. Go for it.
TikTok is being banned everywhere, so
No, I don't know. Maybe not. But fantasy fucking playoff. Ugh. What a shit show. I'm in a championship game that's not going so hot right now. I'm in a third place game that's not going so hot either. So it looks like second and fourth place finish for me, boys. Sad. How about the other two? Ben?
I am not last. Well, hopefully not last. I'm up by 15 points in the loser game, and I don't have to have the testicle trophy in the house this year, which would be sweet.
This
You have to
year.
take
Oh, that
pictures
means
with
you've
it?
had it in the
And
past.
2 years in a row, I won't have had it. But
Oh my
probably the last
gosh.
8 years before that, I did have to have it here.
Oh,
So those that
God.
don't know, we were not able to record because of the Christmas break. So I hope everyone had a great Christmas break with
Ah.
all
Hey,
your
there was another
families.
holiday in there.
There's there?
yeah.
Chanukah? Hanukkah.
Brother, it started on the same day this year. How could you even have missed it?
Come on, dude.
Also Kwanzaa was in there.
Oh, I'm
Kwanzaa.
sorry.
I'm sure there was a
Maybe
few
not.
more too.
I'm the
Kwanzaa?
dumbest one of the group. I barely am getting an associate. You really expected this out of me? Come on.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, it's not like we're friends and you didn't know.
I know someone was in the emergency room said day. That I know.
Whoa, we already talked about revealing kid information. Jesus.
No.
He didn't reveal any information. He just said I was there because of my kid. I mean, technically, I said it on the stream anyway. So
He did.
Oh, that's
But
fair.
let's get started. So we missed last week's game, which thank God. I think
No, we're not starting there. We're starting
we
with
starting?
fantasy.
We're starting with fantasy. All right, I got four.
Yes.
We're done. What more do you need?
Yes, we're on me. We're on me
No one
because I'm the
cares.
only one that
Billy
matters.
needed some more attention.
I needed the attention. You know, I love the attention when it comes to championships, and I wanted to talk about my predicament because Chris, we have history with my
We do have
predicament.
history. Yes.
So to start the day, I was up 16 points. I had Jamar Gibbs, and my opponent had Deebo Samuel. And everybody might be like, "Well, you had it in the bag." Obviously, I was worried because it's the championship. So
Jameer.
whatever, Jameer. And as Chris is aware, I've been in this situation. Well, Boopin as well. I've been in this situation before. I believe it was the 2020 season or 2021 season where I went into the championship game in another league. I don't quote me on this, but I think I was up 32 points, something along those lines. I had nobody playing, and my opponent had Stephon Diggs. So at the time, I was not a bettor. I am now. Bye-bye money. But Chris was. So
I had a job back then.
So I texted Chris, and I'm like, dude, what are the odds on touchdowns for Stephon Diggs? So needless to say, I was like, okay, put a 5 spot on the 2 touchdown play, or like a 10 spot on the 2 touchdown play, $5 on the 3 touchdown play, and give me the over for the yards. Chris, being the smart person that he is, says, I like that. What did you put? Like 25 and 10 or something like that?
No, I put 50. I put 50 on the 3 touchdown. No,
No, you
so
didn't.
wait.
No, you did not.
Yeah, hold on. I have it actually. Hold
You
on.
do not have. It was not 50 because that thing was paying like 4,000.
You got to remember, I made
$4,000.
$800.
I know. If you put 50, you would have made a shit ton more.
Hold on. What was it? Was it
Awesome.
FanDuel?
This is
You
don't
awesome
remember.
pod. This is great
Yeah. Okay. We're
podcasting.
gonna, so Chris, needless to say, put like 25 and 10 on those
I'll
two
take-
numbers, more than I did.
Yeah.
And as we know in history, that was the game where Stephon Diggs went for like 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. And needless to say, the combination of both of us made about $1,000 that day. So I lost my championship, but
It was
I
also
ended
like
up
Sunday
winning
night.
enough money. Yeah,
like
it was
Sunday
Monday
night or Monday night
something.
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Monday
I
night.
ended up.
No, Sunday night. It was Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yeah, it was like end of last game off the championship, and
Yeah,
that was a heck of a call.
So I did the same thing tonight. Not as much money, but I put money on Deebo, and he just needs another touchdown. Thankfully, I have Gibbs, and I'm currently up by about 21 points. So even if Deebo does score again, I should be okay, and I might actually make some money. So that's the history of fantasy. Like I said, I'm with a bunch of losers, but I'm the winner. Hopefully, I can continue to ride this out so I can continue to be your great resource in fantasy so I can listen to a champion rather than
Are you
losers.
guys with me? Is he getting to Jeff level? I mean, I feel like
No,
he's nearly
Jeff is
No.
worse.
No, he's getting
Oh,
there.
man.
But I have
But, like,
credibility.
okay,
I have credibility.
let's center ourselves, right? Let's give something to the people. What have you learned this year? What was
Don't let
different?
Miller
What
draft
worked
your
for
team,
you?
or else you get fourth.
No. I enabled you to get the best team in the league during the regular season. You cannot hate me because Jalen Hurts got hurt.
He got hurt in a bad time too, which is what. Although I don't even think I would have won just because. But I hate when people get hurt like that and then had.
I think I
you
would
mean
have won.
Fucking
I think I-
CMC that I picked 1 overall, or
Well-
Justin Jefferson that I picked last year 1 overall,
Ben,
CMC the year before that.
Ben, you just told us you had the loser trophy at your house for 8 years. I feel
Yeah,
like
we really.
at this
we got
point, it
nothing to
seems
stand
like
on that.
you is the problem.
Every
We are not
time
the
I
problem.
draft a guy, he gets hurt for the season.
Stop drafting, guys.
I'm gonna start drafting Packers, motherfucker.
Okay,
Only draft
but-
quarterbacks.
I was also in the Hurts train. Got me to the best record, most points I think in the league, #1 seed. But again, he got hurt. This is second year. Fun fact that he's gotten hurt in the semifinal or like the last game of the season and fucked me. So my lesson is, when things are going well, you don't need a backup. Instead of having the shitty third string running back from a crappy team, maybe draft a pick a semi decent backup quarterback for the playoffs. That's my lesson for myself.
I will say this fantasy football season was a lot of fun.
Why
the
was
fact
that,
that-
Chris?
Well, not just because I was an amazing drafter, but because of the fact that our episodes.
You
kind
listen
of-
to instructions?
Well, obviously not. But I like the fact that we were able to kind of like talk about what, like, you guys have feedback. I would then kind of have like questions, and we kind of went around in that scenario. So it was fun. It was a fun time. I can't wait to do it again next year. I think we're gonna have to emphasize that more when we do get into fantasy, where I think we're just gonna have to do a separate fantasy section, because trying to combine both sometimes was. This was Miller one day. We spent like 45-50 minutes on one portion of the agenda, and all I see on the side, and he already finished his whiskey, all I see on the side of our little messages is like, yeah, breezing by this fantasy. And I see him go like this, and he goes, yep, don't worry about fantasy. What else let's still talk about next week. And I'm like, all right, well.
No, I agree. This was fun. I think a lot of like later round running backs probably stayed healthy. That was a big part of this.
Running
year.
backs in general, besides
backs.
Ben's picks, obviously.
Yeah, Ben, stop drafting overall. Stop playing fantasy football, maybe for you. But
Oh man.
Hey, but this means that you're not going to be the first pick next year, right?
No, I am, because I'm gonna. I might be. We get odds, put our name in a hat, and draft it that way.
But you're not going to be the
Okay.
most favored.
okay,
Second
Ben, I
pick
got it.
bonus.
Don't pick like whoever. Give it away. Just pick up 10th or something, so you have less pressure on yourself.
Trade
Well,
down.
plus we do a snake draft. So my other guy I drafted at 20 overall was fucking Pacheco, and he got hurt for like 10 weeks. So my top 2 guys were hurt for the entire. fucking
Okay,
season.
I got it. Let Kayla draft for you. Okay. She's
Yeah,
good
might
at
as
it.
well. Shit.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
what did
I'm
we
glad,
learn? Fantasy's fun. That's
Fantasy
all.
was fun. I'm glad. I'm glad we all got a little bit of a taste. But I'll be honest, boys, we've gone 10 minutes and we've been positive. We need to bring it down. We need to bring
Okay.
it down to the regular level.
I
So
got
how
one
do you
more
want to?
positive thing?
What's that?
I got a sick new Bears hat.
Okay,
Oh,
that's kind of
that's-
sweet.
Right?
So you haven't boycotted the Bears like you boycotted the White Sox?
Hey man, it was $17, a half off sale.
Oh.
Had to pick it up.
Wow. Shit, if they do the same thing with the tickets, I'll go to games too.
Yeah, well,
Not in this weather, you won't, because
You
I'm
know-
sure they're half off.
Hey, do you guys want to
No.
hear something depressing?
it's like 20 degrees in Lambeau. You're fine.
No. Hold on. You want to hear something depressing? Do you guys know what the Bears' record is since we went to their game against San Francisco?
Don't
Wait. We
Do the math.
have
'cause-
won. We have
we
won
won.
7 games. We have gone 7 games
And
Mhm.
then 4
since
games.
then and lost like Jesus Christ. Wait, we play 18, 17 weeks, 16 weeks. Minus 7 is 11. 11 and 17 is 28.
28.
7 and 28. Someone did the math.
Good job. Props to you.
Jesus, that's okay. It's sad. They show the records of how bad we've been, how many winning seasons we've had. It's all bad. I know it's sad and it's hurt. That's why I was so sad to do the episode last week. I was like, I don't know if I can be positive enough to be on this goddamn show. So we past the holidays. That's why we didn't do the show. But okay, Miller, bring us down. What's on your shitty agenda list next today?
The Bears is a dumpster fire. We've had 2 weeks because we didn't do it yesterday, and no one thought we could get worse than week 17 or week 16, and we did. We played one of the worst NFL games in history of the NFL, given it was raining, but still.
Yeah.
I don't even remember much of what happened these last 2 weeks, to be honest. I think I blocked it out.
The answer is nothing. Literally
What
nothing.
was 16? Was it that was that was the Lions?
17 was the shitty one you're thinking
The Seahawks, yeah. 17 was the Seahawks.
We lost against the Lions 34-17.
Garbage time touchdown.
Garbage. Well, not even that.
2
But-
touchdown passes by Caleb Williams.
So
No
we're not going to
interceptions.
talk directly about that game. We just all agree that was just
Still
not a lot of
counts.
fun. So
Still counts on the stat book.
we're gonna go ahead
I
and
got
just
some
swing it
stats in a
over.
second.
We're gonna
Let
just
me
go
out.
ahead and swing it over. We disappointed America with probably the worst Thursday night football game that ever existed.
There've been some pretty shitty ones, but it
No.
was up there.
No, this was
Okay.
horrible.
I think I would argue that Chris is probably right. That could have been the worst Thursday
I
night
think
football
they
game
said-
in
I
history.
think they said on the broadcast that this was like one of the 7 games of all time in the history of the league that finished 6-3. Out
Yeah.
of all the games ever played, this
with
was like
0
the 7th
points in
one.
the second half.
And there are only Thursday night footballs haven't been around forever. So I think he might be right. It could be the worst Thursday night football game in all
The
time.
worst
Um,
Thursday one.
Do you know how
I mean,
you guys?
it was
you guys know,
raining.
you guys know I
In the
listen to Pat
second half, it was
McAfee.
worse,
So you guys know I listen to Pat McAfee, right? When
which is why we
when
don't agree
when
with
Friday
what you
when
say.
when they were going to recap the game, they only reviewed it for 3 minutes, where every other Thursday night football game is like a 15-20 minute session. They're like, it was crap. It's crap. Why don't we flex it? Which I actually agree. Why can't we flex Thursday night games?
Can't flex Thursdays,
But
dude. That
make
throws
it
too much
happen.
havoc into the schedule.
I know, but just make it happen. Like,
It's
no
a
one wanted
different-
to see that fucking game, dude.
No, it's there's no other games. Thursday games are weird because the team on the next week will either I guess we'll have extended rest regardless, but they're coming off a short week, so you can't just randomly pull teams and say, "Hey, you're playing Thursday now." I think that doesn't work. Plus, it's probably on a different network, right? It's on Prime. I don't even know what
Yeah.
considerations you have to give them so they can move it. So it's not like
Yeah.
CVS has 4 games and we can move one or the other. It's not like that. So I think that's the way it is. But I also, you guys are forgetting fucking Jaguars, Titans, or some shit. A couple of years ago, they would be on fucking Thursday night football.
6-3.
I
But I know
get
you're
it.
not defending the score.
Numbers.
Please
I am
don't
not-
defend this.
Score.
I'm not. It was not the worst. I've seen there's some Thursday night games
But
where
you know
I'm
what game was on the day before?
No touchdowns, Boopin.
It was Baltimore
None.
versus Texans. You know what score that one was?
what was the score?
Yeah, 31-2.
31
I
to
know
2.
because I had the fucking field goal kicker.
So 31-2 was more exciting than 6-3.
All right, fair. Moving on.
I don't know, Chris. That game wasn't very exciting.
I get it, but the
You
one
saw a
thing I will
Yeah,
say,
but
one thing I
at
will
least
say,
this one was close.
it was close for fucking. Never mind. Listen, I will say,
Something wrong.
The fans showed up. The fans of that stadium were all for it, and I even was proud of the double birds that came out. That's how much pride I had.
That was pretty cool.
Boomer,
The
we
Boo
were
Birds
watching it
definitely
on
were there.
We were watching it on your stream. Well, we weren't watching it, but you were watching it.
I was
and
watching it.
You were calling before it happened when the fans are going to boo based on how bad each play was. You're like,
Yep.
oh, this
Here
they're
it
gonna
comes.
boo this, and they absolutely did.
And it was deserved.
Well, they stayed the whole game and booed the whole game, and good on them because
Yep. Last home game.
Such trash.
Also,
Last
sell
home
the
game. You have
team.
nothing. Yeah, sell the team.
You heard that on the broadcast, on national broadcast. I feel like that's pretty.
I'm gonna let you know, as a Sox fan, that shit doesn't work.
It doesn't. It's not gonna work,
We
dude.
chanted that for 2 years. That
Yeah,
shit doesn't
it's
work.
optics.
Wait.
It's optics. I don't know if it's gonna
Ben,
work.
didn't we have a conversation though where we were like, "What's the best way to boycott a team?" And you're like, "Don't go to the game. Don't watch the game." Right?
Yep.
With the Bears being what they are, do you think the Bears would actually be very hard to do that? Like, it's not like at Jacksonville at one point where they had the tarp in the top level. There's no way you cannot go to a Bears game, right? There's no chance.
It's too small of a stadium. They'll always sell out.
Yeah, and it's the NFL. The NFL's king. It's not. It's not a second tier team in a baseball in a non-baseball city.
But it's also one game a week versus baseball's 162. It's easy to get lost in the. I don't need to care about this team for 2.5 months if you're not a true fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, 16 games, 17 games.
I mean,
period. You're gonna be invested.
forget about that. Tickets are hella expensive. Forget.
Yeah, they're stupid, man.
Yeah,
I don't.
That's
tickets
because
are
there's
like.
less seats.
No,
I know,
they're
but-
expensive
They're
everywhere.
expensive.
Like,
The
it's
tickets
just
that I got for
Tickets
us,
went up this season. Like
It's
Yeah.
just
like,
the
it's
amount of
like
money that you have to
stupid.
pay for these things is just
It's just-
gross.
It's just stupid.
I'm-
I'm telling you guys, if I get tickets half off, I'll probably still go. That's how much of a fucking appeal there is.
You know,
I'm-
you
I'm-
But you gotta
you say
give
that
credit
Go ahead.
to the Bears organization versus the White Sox organization. The Bears, while they make stupid decisions, are actively trying to make better decisions. They thought Poles was a great hire. He turned out to not be. But they're trying. The White Sox, on the other hand, are absolutely not trying to get better. They're not trying to win games. So it's a
Well-
totally different type of organizational.
But you know
challenge.
what's
We were
sad about
trying
that?
to not win games the last 2 years.
Well, to tank to get better picks, yes, but at the same time, he was recouping our balance of our salary cap, which is again a difference because there's no cap in baseball, and we still have one of the lowest caps in all of baseball. That's what I'm
I
saying.
think-
It's a totally different scenario.
Listen, let me get 2 points in here. One, when I purchased the tickets for all of us to go to the San Francisco game, I paid full price, and I was happy with it because the experience alone was worth the ticket of admission. Now, if you told me, "Hey, Chris, we're gonna have this Thursday night game, we'll give them to you for $25, and you'll have great seats," I will be very honest with you, and I'll say no, thank you. Like,
Give them
for-
to me.
for-
You're
for a
full of
Thursday-
shit.
Yeah,
first of all,
100%.
You're full of shit.
for a Thursday night game, given
Full of
where I
shit.
live,
Full of
and the
shit.
fact that it was going to be raining, no, thank you.
You offered
Now-
those to me
Full
for $100. I
of
still go.
shit.
Oh,
No.
okay, that's fair.
No.
Also, I don't have a job,
My
so a lot of
max
me
would
saying
probably be 50.
saying no is very easy these days when you don't have a job. The second point I want to make: we can't really talk about the White Sox without including the Chicago Bulls and how mediocre they've been, and they are fine with it. And that's what sucks about that having that same
Again, it's
ownership.
Dude,
Same owner.
guys, can I interrupt for a second? They're having some vulgar images of Ryan Bates on the TV right now of him in a position that isn't okay, and they've played it twice on the fucking screen, and it's really weird.
Ryan Bates?
The Detroit kicker. They have him laying down stretching, but you can see it was weird. It was just weird.
You see the sack?
You really can, yeah.
Good for him.
He's one shoulder off the ground, it was
Wait, hold on. Let
weird.
me put you full screen. Show us again.
No, we're not gonna do that.
Miller, do you need to excuse yourself? Do you need to go outside?
Yeah.
No
Are you
allegations
okay?
being beat here. What I
Just
did wanna-
Ryan being baited.
Yeah. What I will say though is that I think to boycott the Bears is obviously harder, but I think this is the one time where we talked a little bit about it. If Poles is not gone because of his own choice or him being fired,
Okay, get off his own choice bullshit.
it's
It's not a thing. It's not a
gotta be.
thing.
I
No
don't think
GM
those
is going to
rumors are
leave.
I don't think
know,
those
dude.
rumors are true. Even if Warren is involved in the decision making,
Chris,
he's
Go
an
ahead,
adult
Ben.
and he's got to get over it. And he's
Yeah,
not
but
gonna
with what we
resign and lose
have-
his contract.
Chris,
He's not
no.
gonna resume-
When have you ever heard
of
of somebody in the top of their position? He's the top of the top. Say, you know what? I'm going to leave because he's not going to get a GM position anywhere else. No, he's not.
One person did it.
Who?
Belichick to the Jets.
He was
Can't
not
say
the-
no. Can't say no.
Wait,
Brian
was
Can't
he
say
a-
no.
is not
Wait, wait, wait.
Belichick.
But
That
Belichick
the
was
same,
GM
like,
and coach, and he said no, and he left the following day. Lasted
You-
1 day.
You're talking about a guy who will clearly go to the Hall of Fame. And a
Wait,
guy
what did
who's
you?
but
gonna
he
be the
wasn't-
What
worst
happened?
in
I'm lost. Was this? Did he go from the Browns to the Jets?
And then he's like, no thanks, and then ended up leaving
for 1
And he
year?
became
for like a couple days.
That's a different story. Come on,
You said leave on their own. I gave you a person. That's all I did.
that's not apples to apples.
Oh,
Poles
here
has
we
been
go.
in this position for 3 years. Belichick was never in that position. He had the position with the Jets, but he was never in it. So they didn't know what he was like. They didn't know his picks in the draft. He didn't have a track record. And then
Listen, Miller.
the bottom line is Ryan Poles is not going to get a GM position anywhere else in this league if he
walks.
leaves this, if he walks.
I don't think
Wait.
that's 100% true, but
It's 110% true.
He didn't take this
He's-
organization from a shit spot to a great spot. He took us from a shit to an okay to back to a shit spot. That's not a good enough to say, oh, I'm gonna walk and go, and anyone else is gonna be like, yeah, I like what he did.
He's going to be an assistant GM, but not a
Go
GM.
ahead,
Also,
Pops.
Belichick was not the GM of the Jets. He was just the head coach.
I believe he was given to do both.
I
Never
believe
had the
I
title.
was reading it.
I am
I don't-
reading it.
From where? Hold on, Twitter?
Oh,
I would never.
No,
do
it's
that.
not going to be on Twitter.
he's not.
They're not
doing
going to
it.
have that on Twitter.
Oh,
Wow.
Hold
Oh.
on.
good night.
Good night. So,
Wait,
I
go
mean,
back.
regardless,
Oh, never mind.
I mean,
Wait, you're
he's not going to be a
technically
GM.
Irish,
Okay.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
He was
smarter
rude.
than us.
He was what? What did you want? Okay, getting back to the dumpster fire at home. Okay, the Bears.
Dumpster fire in general, not just at home.
Okay, we started talking about polls. Let's start there, right? I think
That is the last thing on the agenda.
Oh shit!
We have no
sorry.
agenda.
We have no
we
agenda.
aren't following it yet.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. Okay. The dumpster fire is that we have our offensive coordinator was fired, our head coach was fired, and fucking quarterbacks coach, I don't know what his title was, is our head coach right now. The team is letting a rookie quarterback be sacked for like the record number of times. I think it's the third most ever in the history of the NFL.
Let's pause.
That's
on
where
the
we are.
Team is letting that happen.
Okay, fair,
Oh,
fair.
fucking Christ. Do we have to get
I'm-
into this again?
No. I think we'll cover that in the Caleb section, which is not on the agenda, but we know it's on the agenda. But that's the dumpster fire, right? And here's the greatest question of all: we don't see this getting better, like in the short term, right? There's too many holes on the team.
Disagree. Disagree.
Okay, all right, let's
Hey,
start
Let
there.
him finish the point.
No.
Jesus.
You
No, no,
did.
no.
You did.
Miller, go ahead and how you're gonna turn a 4-win fucking dog shit ass team in one draft class into a
And
Super
free
Bowl contender.
agency.
Okay.
And free agency.
Sure. Whatever. Float your boat, Miller. Float your own.
Go
boat.
ahead, Miller.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Miller.
Show us how you're gonna fix it.
At the end of the day, last year, we had one of the best defenses to end the year. Did we not?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Agreed.
What has changed? Nothing has changed. We basically
Well-
have the same defense this year.
The play
And they're
caller's
just
gone.
dog shit because of play callers and shittiness. I don't know why. Can't tell you why, but it's the same defense that we had last season that was considered one of the best to end last year. So that's the defensive side of the ball. Now, with that being said, will there be some changes on the defensive side? Probably, but realistically, we're still going to have our solidified pieces that should help. We're still going to have Sweat. We're still going to have Jalen Johnson, and we're going to still have a young secondary. Hopefully, Brisker's back as a safety position because he does play well. Who knows? On the offensive side of the ball, you're probably going to lose Keenan Allen, but let's be real, as we've talked about before, can you really have 4 offensive weapons and make it work? It's rare. Most teams don't have 3 elite wide receivers. Most have 2, and we know Rome can do it, and we know DJ can do it. So if we can incorporate our tight end more, because considering we paid him $12 million a year, that could be a starting point as far as the offensive line. You're going to improve it, whether that's going to be in free agency or whether that's going to be in the draft. I don't know. The improvement's going to be there. Am I saying? I mean, it can happen,
How do you
dude.
say that? Poles said he improved it this year, and it was absolutely nothing. He did nothing burgers. Nothing burgers.
He said he
Nobody
improved
got
it. I
his
agree.
percentage.
He did say
Nothing
he improved it, but realistically, he didn't really improve it.
What comes in a nothing burger?
Like
Our offensive linemen.
he didn't spend money on it, Ben. He spent a
He
few.
traded
What
a
did he?
fifth-round pick.
A
and
fifth
paid
round pick,
Shelton and what's his name? Nate
and they
Davis
paid him pennies.
$8 million
He didn't
a year
spend
for
real
Nate
money
Davis.
on it.
It is the cheapest O line in the league right now. So I'll
I
agree
think,
with Miller
I
there.
think it was his second cheapest.
No, I think it's
The
the
whole
cheap.
line's close to
but-
like under 30 million from what I
Yeah.
remember.
But like I think here's what it is, and this is why I think it will take more than a year, Miller. You ask a great question. What's changed this year versus last? Nothing. I think it's like the people's intrinsic motivation to do well. Either that's for the coach, the team, the players around them. That's changed. You see people not tackling, people like not committed as to how much they were last year. And you're right, nothing has changed. Maybe our play call has changed. A couple of things going on. Something about the morale of the team. Something is dead inside the team.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we all agree that it's going to take more than a year. It's probably going to take a coach that can come inspire these people to give in their best.
I think-
Forget the money.
Okay,
Forget
let's
the
all-
cap space.
Let me
Let's
let me
all
jump
agree-
in.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. I was just gonna jump in. I think the one thing that people are not looking at, which is an issue now, is that the NFC North will have 3 teams going into the playoffs, and the Bears being the dumpster fire. So it's not just a team being dog shit, which they are. Obviously, they have a chance to improve, but improve over what becomes the question. Because to say that we're going to be better than the Lions, better than the Vikings, better than Green Bay, that's a hard sell for me to even take. So even in a realistic term, if Poles gets to keep his job, and then all of a sudden we're going to try to work on whatever category you want to bring in. If you're going to talk about the offensive line, okay, talk about the offensive line. The offense is not probably going to score enough points to get us third or possibly second in the division in the next 2 years. I don't think so. But
I think they will.
I think looking
the
at
offense.
But I think looking
think-
at the division though, Boopin, is where I'm more stuck on, like, where we improve, because there's now other destinations where people will want to go play because they have. I mean, the Vikings are in with Darnold at quarterback, and everyone was talking about how bad of a pick that was going to be because of the quarterback that they drafted for the future. And now all of a sudden they're fighting for the number 1 spot in the NFC. Like,
I mean, we talked about it last year too. Vikings would when their Kirk went down, they were winning games with nobody. So I think that's what we are missing. I think right now, San Francisco is playing with literally people they picked off the street. Okay, they picked up a guy from Arizona's freaking practice squad. He's playing. I mean, Detroit is not the great defense, but still they're playing better than our guys did. That's the problem. I think it's the system, the scheme, the coaching, the culture, whatever
But
fuck
this
you call
issue-
it. We don't
but
have
this
it.
issue have been happening for. There have been podcasts where we recorded where even at some point I stopped joking because we literally couldn't tackle. There were times where I would question, why can't we tackle? We've brought up multiple times, why isn't Kmet being used? And there came a point where you guys were like, oh yeah, Chris is going to talk about Cole Kmet not being used. Guess what? That became a reality without us even intentionally shitting on it. Like the fact that we said, hey, Kmet could be that safety line that a new quarterback could have when shit is hitting the fan. You can throw it to a tight end that's a surefire tight end. Everyone talked about it being a top 10, top 15 tight end, whatever it is. We didn't use him. So it's like
we have Keenan Allen. It's literally played out this season.
Mike, but you're missing the point. The 2 things that you left out in your fixing the team little crap review there is if you go with a defensive head coach, then you quote unquote, let's say best case scenario, fix the defense. Now you still got to hire an OC. You still got to get that right, which
a
Poles
high
cannot
paid
do.
OC, high
Then
paid.
Let's reverse it. Let's say we get Ben Johnson like everybody seems to want, which I'm for. I'm not against it.
We're not getting that. The
I don't think
Catskills
so.
are not spending the money.
Okay, let's just say
They
best
don't have a
case scenario,
choice.
right? Let's say best case scenario, we get Ben Johnson. You still have to get a DC that comes in that makes the defense work with what we have versus trying to fit our pieces into his system. which is why Eberflus sucked the first couple of years, because he wouldn't change his defense. He got Poles to get him guys to fix or to fit what his system was. That's the problem. You got to stop getting guys who have a system and don't use what they have to like build a new system.
Ben, remind me what was the big change that they made when Flus came in? They were changing their defensive scheme, right?
They went from a 4-3 to a 3-4, right?
No,
Was there
we're
improvement
now
after?
we're now in a 4-3.
But
So
they
we went
were-
from a 3-4 to a 4-3.
Was there any improvement on that?
No, because he complained that he didn't have a 3-tech his whole time.
Yeah, and we never
So
got
even
one
when
because
we had a
just-
coach,
Well,
even when we had a coach, we still
the last two.
We
Yeah,
had
but we didn't
Billings,
even
and then we
fulfill
didn't-
that part.
we didn't draft Jalen Carter like we originally were going to.
Correct, because he
I mean-
had the DUI and all the.
I mean,
racist
Carter
shit.
has not been a
Legend.
slam dunk.
Alleged.
He is a Pro Bowler this year,
He's a Pro
Boopin.
Bowler, Boopin.
Like he was a slow. Like it's turned it around. I'm not.
I'm pretty
Boopin,
sure-
he is a
I'm
Pro
pretty sure
Bowler.
He was like
Pro
up
Bowlers
for
voting in,
He
I
was
don't care.
not. No, he was like he did have a hot start to the year. Is what I'm trying to say. He like
I don't
picked it
think
up.
that's true.
I don't think that's true either.
I'm gonna look up the stats.
Do
I
it.
am.
You're
but,
not
like,
going to be able to see by game. It's more. I mean, he's a 3-tech. Like you're not going to be. It's not in the stats. All I know is he's been talked about like every time he's on prime time
Right.
on
Every
how
time they have a
much of
game.
a big impact he's had.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. So if you hire a coach that only can run his system and he needs guys to fit his system, fine. As a GM, you can pick. But if you don't get the guy that makes his system work, then you're gonna fucking lose games like Flus did. That's
But
part
Ben,
of the problem.
isn't it safe to say as a defensive coach that's typically how it works? Like typically
Not
when
to
you're
this
from a
extent.
defensive coach, you run a 4-3 or a 3-4. That's bottom line. You
Yeah.
don't normally see that change. So the fact that we made that change was because of the coach. And then obviously when you're running a 3-4 and you don't have players that can play that defensive line like you need in a 4-3, you do need to make changes.
But he
And some
didn't. That's
positions
the
aren't as
problem.
important.
But that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. You're right. If you're going to go from a 3-4 to a 4-3, yes, you do have to get players to play in your system. However, if the guys you draft or sign in free agency don't work that way, or like they didn't work out as you intended, you got to make a change. And our
Mhm.
coaching staff seemed impossible to make changes. For whatever reason, they were stubborn. They just believed that their guys would just magically get better. Whatever it was, it never changed. So that's why Flus's defense, when he got Sweat at the end of middle of last year, it completed his 3-tech D end, and then he was ready to go, right? And that's why at the end of last year it was good. At the start of this year it was good. Then we had the injuries pile up, and it got bad again because he didn't have what he needed to make the defense he ran work. And
Can I
that's
can I can I
Right.
ask $1 million question, guys? Had Flus been more cognizant about the play calling and maybe game management, I think he would still be the head coach of the Chicago Bears, right? All he had to do was like not end of game situation, not look fucking like a
stupid.
head like a high school head coach, right?
Yeah.
Because he seemed like he was over his head. If he had a decent clock manager, timeout caller, game manager, whatever fuck you call it, he was getting a lot out of these players. Like the defense this
On
year
the
wasn't
defense.
hot. Yeah,
I
like,
think
was
hindsight
getting
being
hot.
2020, I can't answer that. But what I can say is that if the Fail Mary had turned and we won half of those games, I think he's still a coach, even
Yeah,
with the
that's fair.
mistakes that were made.
I'm honestly, I'm starting to be in the boat. This is going to be a minority opinion. I already know it. But I think the firing of the Flus was probably one of the worst decisions that Poles has made. Because
It had to
although
be
you
done,
can
though.
sit here and say it could have been done, but look at what happened with this team. You had a team that was, yes, Flus made some bad decisions, horrible decisions, play calling, whatever. He was going to be fired at the end of the year. There's no denying that. But they fired him mid-season, which then you went from a Caleb and offensive growth, seeing growth with him working with Thomas Brown, to then Thomas Brown being forced into the head coach position because I do think it was fair for him to be picked head coach because he was viewed as a potential head coach. Obviously, that didn't work out to now Caleb regressing again. In my opinion, it's because of Thomas Brown being a head coach and not being able to focus on him as much. And it's just been a complete shit show since that occurred.
I have one counter to that, which is there was something else that influenced the firing of Flus, and that was the players. So with the players,
We're champions, baby. We're champions.
Congratulations.
Well done, buddy.
All right.
The smallest of golf claps.
Here's the issue. It came out later on that the players were shitting on Flus. They lost
on Waldron too, for the record. Yes.
Well, they shit on Waldron, but he was already gone, so it's irrelevant. But they were already starting to shit on Flus. It got to the point where I believe DJ Moore said that he had no idea what was happening, or he didn't know who was. So when you have that stuff coming out publicly, and if we continue to lose, which given the history, Brown hasn't gotten a win since, it would have been worse, and worse. So while I do agree that maybe there could have been a different time to do it, nothing after, let's say, the Fail Mary. So give them one more game after the Fail Mary. So
I think that was the point. That was the Arizona and New England loss.
yes,
Was the turning point of the season. I don't know if it was a Fail Mary. I don't know what it was.
No, I'm saying after, right? That's what I'm saying.
Something
Ignore the
it
Fail
just-
Mary.
Something just turned off on this team. Like,
Okay, Chris.
Yeah.
That's fair. Has the team played better since Flus has been fired?
I asked you that question. I asked you that, and you said it didn't matter because it mattered what Caleb was doing.
Okay, that's fine. But has the team played better since
No,
Flus
they
was fired?
played the same.
Okay,
So why does it matter if the players are running their mouth because they don't trust the coach? Because the bottom line is, like you said, it's not on coaching anymore. It's on the
Exactly.
players to step
Exactly.
up, and they haven't. So they all ran their little fucking mouths
They did.
about how Eberflus was a horrible coach. Before that, they ran their mouths about how what's his name was a fucking bad coach. And you know what happened? The team got worse. So you know what? These fuckers need to stop running their goddamn mouths and
It's
start
not even
fucking
that.
playing on the field.
You know what
Yeah.
it is too? It's the media.
shut up and
The
dribble,
media-
right, Miller?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the media is asking the wrong questions where it's like,
First of all, we
Flus-
need to stop talking to the fucking media. I think
Yes.
it's getting overblown. Cut them out of the fucking podcast. That's getting out of control. Cole Kmet doesn't need to have a fucking podcast every week that he brings on all these guys. Shut
Well,
the
I mean-
fuck up. Put them back into the dark. Do not let them go onto these podcasts. Until you're good, shut the fuck up. Secondly,
I mean, the radio
Back-
interviews still happen where they have their own show, so that's not
back
going
to
to
the
stop them.
coaching point. At the time that Flus was fired, they made the decision because he embarrassed us as an organization. That was just utter embarrassing. And then his response to the question, he sealed.
It was
his own fate
bad.
there.
Dude, like, he was a
However-
dead man walking. You could tell in the sidelines. Like,
But-
each game, he was just getting deader and deader.
But if you look at it from that point in the schedule, he's not. Even if he remained head coach and had the team behind him, they're not winning another fucking game. Maybe they win against Seattle, but they're not winning another fucking game. They had the gauntlet of this. So I wanted him gone after the Lions game because it was embarrassing. But after watching what's happened since, like, anyone you put in after that never had a chance to succeed.
That's what I
Because
said.
you went through the gauntlet of the hardest schedule in football. That's why we're still going to be the lowest of the 4 and 10s or whatever we are of draft picks because we have the hardest schedule in the league.
Like,
So-
You're 100% right, but my hindsight, like I've said all season, goes back to one person, and that's Caleb Williams. And the bottom line is, when Caleb Williams was paired with Thomas Brown as OC, that's probably when he played his best football. And the fact that we lost that has been a detriment because
but see,
everything has been a
that's-
dumpster fire.
But that's the point I'm trying to make. You know that from the firing of the Flus to the end of the year, you're not going to win any more games. Or maybe you get lucky and you win one, right? So they intentionally put Brown there to give him a chance, but he had literally no chance, right?
lame duck.
Well,
He
it's
had
not
he had a
it's not
chance.
it's not a lame duck because he didn't start there.
I-
He got
Okay,
It's not a lame duck because he had a chance.
But what I'm
being a
saying
head
is-
coach in NFL, Like he had not even been a fucking
No.
offensive
Well, what I'm
coordinator.
saying
I
is,
get
like,
that.
You
I
could
get
put,
that,
like,
but not
Alan
like
Williams
this.
in there, or put somebody who like you don't give a shit.
Right.
Well, not
that can
Alan
fail.
Williams because the defense just fell off a cliff, but maybe the special teams coordinator.
Well, he is the special teams coordinator, isn't he?
Oh, is he? I was
Aaron
thought he was the
Washington is
defensive.
the
Oh, yeah, that's what I
But
said.
either way, you put one of those guys who you can just either bring
Agreed.
back or fire, and no one gives a shit. Don't put your guy that you're grooming.
Wanna
to
keep,
potentially-
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't do that. You
Yeah.
literally just promoted him to OC.
The man might not even get a win.
No, he probably won't.
He's not.
Even though I kind of think he will.
I want to drink what you're drinking because that's some copium right there.
I know we went back on a couple stuff. I know we're gonna look forward into the Bears game. We talked about fantasy. Miller won. No one cares. But we get to the point where it's just we've beaten this dead horse so many times. It's gotten to the point where I'll speak for myself because
Please.
I'm always right anyway.
Yeah.
But it's gotten to the point where I wished for the players to give a shit. It didn't happen. Ownership is still questionable. They try to make the stadium the main thing at the beginning of the season, and that's kind of going under too. Like no one cares about the stadium. So it's like everything for the Bears is on a downward trend. Even if we beat the Packers, it's not enough for us to be happy. And
That's
I
bullshit.
I'll be very
Except Caleb.
you
They're not
gotta-
on
you
Caleb
guys-
bandwagon.
I'm not on the. Here's the thing: he's regressed as much as you want to say.
I don't
whatever you
think
wanna
he's
say.
Okay, time
regressed
out.
as
Time out.
much as he
Time out.
hasn't moved forward.
Okay.
So if you don't
Moving
move
on to
forward,
the-
what do you do? Hold on, time out. So if you don't move forward, what do you do?
You could also.
You
say
say the same.
You say the
think.
same, or
You
I
think.
no, regression is going backwards. I don't think he went backwards. I think he's the same quarterback that he came out of college. I don't think he's moved forward. He hasn't improved because he hasn't had solid coaching. And the one thing that frustrates
Or
me
time
with you
to
two,
throw.
Oh,
Time to
don't
throw.
give me that shit, Boop.
He
It's
had-
the longest
he-
time to throw in the league. You
I
did.
think it
Don't
has
give
more
me
to do
that.
with coaching than it does to do with the time to throw. The offensive line hasn't been good. I will admit that. But he hasn't had a good offensive coordinator around him. He's gone through 3 offensive coordinators in a year. You guys bitched with Fields going through 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years. Okay, so you got to understand this. Coaching fucking matters. Go look at Minnesota. Go look at Detroit. There's many other teams. Coaching matters. And this kid's been through 3 offensive coordinators in 17 games, and he hasn't taken steps forward. But I'm not going to sit here and say he's regressed. He's still doing the same fucking mistakes he did it when he got into the league.
so let me
3.
ask the group.
It was the first guy, then it was Thomas Brown, and now it's the new guy,
He's right.
the quarterback's
Thomas
coach.
Brown is still calling the plays.
Yeah, but it's not the offensive coordinator. Got to get your language right, buddy.
Dude,
Oh
bro.
my
I'm
He's on-
giving
I knew
you
he was.
two.
He was pulling a Chris.
Got to get your
He was-
language right,
He was
buddy.
pulling a Chris with the specifics. But here's my question though.
You
Of
call
the
it
times-
yourself. You call
Yeah.
yourself called it pulling a Chris. I love that.
So he's using it wrong though, because I'm always right. But here's my thing.
Except that one said
I was
you're
right,
always
but
So
sure.
Miller,
Not
here's my thing. How many times has he been
All right.
sacked? Like 65, 66 sacks in a year?
67.
No, isn't it more? Because wasn't it 66? Oh, no, it
let's
was.
just say
No,
67.
I think you're
just
right.
to,
Yeah.
let's just say 67.
I think you're right.
Of
67.
those 67 sacks, how many are you blaming on the offensive line, and how many are you blaming on the coach?
Someone actually did the numbers. Like it was about
It's about
If you want my honest
yeah.
opinion,
Honest
I'll put
opinion.
50% on the offensive line, probably about
it was less than that.
15% on the coaching, and there was that 35% on Caleb.
wrong. Wrong. Just straight wrong.
Okay, Ben, what do you got?
Okay.
I love the wrong because Miller usually does that to us. I love that you did that to him. Go ahead.
No, he's like wrong.
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna get it wrong. There wasn't an answer that I could have given that I would have gotten it right.
That's
No,
fair.
someone actually did the numbers. It was about, I think, what, 20% was on Caleb, Ben, right? It was like, I saw it on Reddit. You probably seen it too.
No, yeah,
What-
but he
what I
hasn't
would
shown
say-
that to the group. If it was 20%
No,
on
it's
Caleb,
definitely
keeps
not
that shit to himself.
It's
Yeah.
definitely not 20% on Caleb.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
more
think
than
it's-
that. So
I think it's more.
the first half of the season, remember when we were like the receivers were confused, the O line wasn't shifting, and all that, and then it came out that Caleb was telling them the wrong things in the huddle. I think early on, Caleb did cause a lot of those things. And then later on, I don't think so much of the shifting errors are on Caleb. I think he did correct that based on how he was moving in the pocket and the plays were run. That being said, he holds the ball longer than Fields did, and he just is unwilling to take a short, quick pass. So a lot of the sacks are going to be on him for holding the ball a long time in a different way than Fields was, where he just needed to run for his life, right? Because he didn't want to throw the ball short. However, the O-line after the injuries has definitely not been great. When
They
Braxton-
haven't.
When Braxton Jones went out and Tevin Jenkins went down, that whole left side is just dog shit. Darnell Wright has been solid the whole year. Not great, but solid. And then whoever the hell we have at right guard these days, it doesn't even matter. Like, they're terrible. And Shelton, right? I believe has been playing a lot better the last like 10-ish weeks.
Yeah, he's good. What did the thing that we just read today? I think he's top 10 PFF in pass and top and bottom 10 PFF in rush.
Right. The run game, let's just say what it is. There is no run game. We have no fucking run game. So all we're talking about right now is pass from the offensive line. And when you got 3 out of the 5 positions not even like having a starting quality player there, like that's on Poles. That's on Poles. He said this was the deepest thing O-line he's ever had. It's crap.
So you said 20%, so it's actually 45. So
45% on Caleb, according to this, whatever the fuck this is, but 45% on Caleb. And
I think that's fair.
But does that have coaching involved?
I'm guessing the rest of it is all
No.
O-line, but they
O-line coaching.
Yeah.
it's all.
'Cause
So the reason I asked this question is because back when the game was going on, I asked our buddy Stat Hole Sports. I actually asked him on Twitter because some of it is going to fall on the offensive line, and the players themselves, right? When I asked this question, it was December 22nd. I asked, can you tell us who has the most false starts at home in the NFL?
could have just said false starts.
No, but at home, because typically the fans should be on our side, right?
Mhm,
It's mostly
mhm.
quiet. We were tied for second most false starts.
Again, goes back to the lack of discipline too.
Exactly.
But like one thing I will say is, Ben, I think you consistently made this point that he's at fault for his and I think it was the last game whatever game, one of the Seattle game, whatever game it was. I don't know how much of it is being a rookie. He consistently finds the wrong gap to run into, or like he runs where there's a defender right there, like on the other. Like he is not aware enough of like his protection. Like maybe not even when the pocket breaks, even when the pocket is sort of solid, he still picks the wrong gap consistently. I don't know what percent of that is him being a rookie trying to, find his foot in NFL, or part of that is just like he's never had to learn that, right? That he didn't have to wait 3 seconds to throw the ball. Someone would be open
But here's
and
the
he
thing,
could make a
Boopin,
hero play.
you can say that, and there's been flashes, but I feel like some of the stuff of like his flashes that show up on ESPN or all these other places are from broken plays. There has never been anything where it's like that I recall. He was in the pocket, he makes this amazing throw. No, everything is he broke away. The one play where we got the touchdown called back because hey, offensive holding at home was him running
That was
away,
bad.
throwing across from his body. Great throw. Do we need to see that every fucking game? No. Be a quarterback, be in the pocket. It's a great play. Don't get me wrong. If we got the touchdown, we got the touchdown. But what I'm saying is, why are we focusing more on the stuff that is the talent and not the fundamentals?
It
And I
goes
think
back to the point
that's where I think he's
not willing-
regressing.
but he's not willing to take the short passes, and I think that's where we get into a lot of these discussions.
But see, this
If
is
he
where I'll
takes-
defend Caleb. Unlike other quarterbacks, Mitch, love you.
RIP.
Short passes were his bread and butter, and everyone's like, well, he never threw the deep ball. What
Right.
if Caleb never was told focus on your short passes?
He's been
Because
told.
there was a stat out there. Hold on. There was a stat out there where past 7 yards, he only completed 1 pass. Everything else was under 7 yards.
It's funny you
So-
mentioned that.
Mitch or Caleb.
Caleb.
So this
So-
year,
So why did you just say
Caleb
no?
Williams.
Wait, Ben. I know you're gonna get to a stat. Why did you just say you were concerned about Caleb's short throws when everything was under
Because in
7
because
yards?
in because even in that aspect,
People-
you can't tell if it was a planned thing or if it's just him like maneuvering around. With Mitch, it was always planned. It was always, hey, we know you
So
probably
you're,
can't
you
throw
so
deep.
you're
We're
saying
gonna-
that Caleb does throw it short, and Ben's saying that he doesn't.
I'm
throw
saying
it short.
Caleb will throw it short when he's running out of his ass. That's what I'm saying.
No, he looks for the hero ball when he's looking out of
that's what I
pocket.
mean. Like he has short passes that are open, but he wants to
Right.
have a deeper play.
He-
It's
hero
not that
ball,
he's
yeah.
bad at his short throws.
Yeah, I don't
He's
think
not.
he is.
No,
Okay.
I don't agree with that either. But I'm just
Ben
saying,
has a stat for us, Poopin.
I got
and-
a couple of fun stats for you.
Hit
How
me.
many balls in the air, so air yards per throw, has Caleb thrown over 50 yards this year?
50.
Oh come on, that's a stupid ass
It's
stat.
not. I've got a bunch of them.
Over 50,
Over 50. Just
4.
attempted. Just attempted.
3.
attempted 8.
Fucking 0.
Oh.
Jared Goff this year has 8. So just so you're aware, there are guys with it. 40 yards. How many attempts this year? 40 yards.
3.
1.
4.
6.
4.
Fucking 6 in 17 games. 30 yards.
Well, I'm gonna say 9.
15.
14. So out of all the games, over 30 yards attempted, not even completed, attempted, fucking 20 passes over 17 games.
But that's-
fucking
Okay,
pathetic.
comparison.
Ben, no,
But
Ben,
I was gonna say, but comparison to coaching, would you say that that's within realm?
and O line, like that O line, like
Guys.
you wouldn't give him 3 seconds to throw the ball.
This
I
goes
don't
back
know.
to the Mitch thing. If Mitch had those numbers, we actually would have been happy.
He has no. I'm never.
Don't
happy
tell me
with
I'm wrong.
Mitch.
Miller, defend me here.
I'm never happy with Mitch. He averages 3.6 air
Chris,
yards.
no one will
above-
love
But that-
Mitch
that
as much as
doesn't-
you love
No.
Mitch. Okay.
Ben, I get that, but you just gave us arguments without providing a context.
Yeah, there's
Come
no
on.
context.
He's not
with it.
taking the deep shot.
Give me somebody. You gave me Jared Goff has 8, but Jared Goff is running one of the best offenses in the league. That doesn't tell me that.
Jaden Daniels was 7. Lamar Jackson was 6. Jordan Love 6. Josh Allen 5. Derek Carr 5.
Okay, yeah,
Joe
that's
Burrow
pretty bad.
4.
That's fine.
Sam Darnold
Yeah,
4.
that's
I
pretty bad.
got.
And that was
he
a 50 plus, right?
I'm telling you, 40 other. Yeah, 50 plus. Don't get me started on the 40 and the 30. He's not even in the.
But that doesn't really matter to me that much. I mean, 30, yes. 50 is like,
I know.
It
I'm
kind of does
I'm
matter
saying,
given the
one's-
names that we
they're
have.
Not even attempting, and we're always down. So he's not.
but
even
50,
attempting.
when do you throw a 50-yard pass? You
Throw it
probably
on the
see
fucking
those
DJ Moore.
3 or 4 a season, Hail Marys,
You're in
like-
No,
the
50
shotgun,
yards
you
is
take
not
a
really a Hail
5-yard
Mary, though.
5-yard drop and just
50
bomb.
plus, Chris. 50 crop plus
But
is a Hail Mary.
you really think no?
But
50
like 30
plus,
plus to me is more of the issue. Like you should have at least a 30 plus attempt a game, in my opinion.
It's under.
Technically, he does, wasn't it? It was like 14.
I mean, he overthrows a lot of them, so I wouldn't be
Yes,
surprised.
he fucking does. That's one of the biggest concerns with Caleb is his long ball accuracy, man. He can't fucking hit that fucking sideline.
So
throw to
long
safety
story short,
spot.
because we're already
Okay.
reaching an hour on the
Yeah.
podcast. Long story short, I just want to put this out there. We're gonna talk about the Packers next.
No, we're talking
no,
about
no.
polls next.
No,
We're
Caleb
talking about
next.
polls still.
Yeah.
We just talked
Caleb.
about Caleb.
Okay,
Who
I'll,
cares?
I'll do things about Caleb and we can go.
We
okay?
have Ben
Okay.
here. I'm drinking. I'm still got a little bit left.
At the beginning of the year, like, what did we say? We said, like,
And I just
Yes.
won my ship. What do I care?
progress in as a quarterback, like things like that. Caleb is gonna finish like top 5 in as a quarterback, I think, for passing yards for the Bears. Okay, not much, I know, but like he'll be top 5 for the franchise he's in. We know that he's already like led the league in like rookie not throwing interceptions. He's also had one of the better seasons
Hey, Boopin.
passing
Hey,
yards
Boopin.
versus that. Those are the
Hey-
2 successes we have.
Hey,
That's what I want to say.
Hey, Boopin.
Hey,
Not
buddy.
only with these successes, though, you know what's the most depressing stat he has under his belt?
What?
10 straight losses. That's his franchise record.
It's not the most depressing, to be honest.
That is the
And
most
that's
depressing.
not on him. That's not 100% on him.
Mitch didn't get that.
Yeah, and he's also a backup quarterback. I saw him the other day.
Caleb's
Chris,
coming
did you?
soon.
Were you watching the Bills game? Did you see Mitch? Because I saw him celebrating with James Cook because
Wait,
he was
no,
on the
he-
sideline with no helmet on.
That's
Wait,
great.
yeah.
What team is he playing for?
The
Wasn't
Bills.
he at Jewel?
And what
I think he
record
was-
do they
he was
have?
I think
Yeah, and he's done nothing.
He's a winner.
He was the checkout guy today at Jewel, I think. I think he works
He-
at the.
check this out. He checked out
I mean,
Check that,
Boopin
he's
is.
checking out a position in the playoffs too. Which
I mean,
we can't say
arguably,
about the
he's
Bears
had a
either.
really good rookie season. You can
two
argue
former
that a lot of
quarterbacks-
times of
two
the
former
fact that it was in
Bears
garbage
quarterbacks are gonna
time,
go
but
back
he's
to the
putting up good
playoffs.
stats.
Hey, 2 former Bear quarterbacks are going to go to the playoffs if Pittsburgh wins. Imagine.
As backups.
Doesn't
The
matter.
fact that
Still
you
there.
give credit to people that don't even play is astonishing to me.
Listen,
It's
Sometimes-
fucking astonishing.
listen. When you have Mitch Trubisky, who is a top completion percentage of the Bears franchise,
Cherry
you
picking
put
stats.
respect on his fucking name. Okay, that's all I'm
That's not
saying. Mitch,
necessarily cherry picking. That's an accurate.
But
stat.
he's saying one stat. Like, tell me
You
300
just
other
said, you
stats
just
about.
said one stat too.
What did I
He's the 5th most yards in Bears history, or some shit like that.
Well,
I mean, he's put up
I said-
realistically. If you gave us the stat line at the beginning of the season, everybody in this fucking podcast would say that's a successful rookie season.
that was the point I
No
was trying to get
doubt
to.
about it, because he's got about 33. He should get about 3,500 yards. He's going to have a touchdown interception ratio that is almost 4-1, and he has a quarterback rating of around 90. Everybody here would say that's a successful rookie
That was
season.
the point
Don't
I was
think
trying to get
about
to.
it. You're full of shit if you say that's not. The record
I-
isn't
you
where
wanna
you
go
want it
first?
to be.
I will say one of the things that I was very pleasantly surprised of this year was the lack of fumbles. I thought he was going to fumble a lot more, especially when you get sacked 66 whatever fucking times. I was pretty impressed by that.
I will say he's adapted very well. Granted, I don't like what he did this after the game, but we're not even going to touch on that because you guys don't deem it important enough. But when you're ready to throw your other teammates under the bus as the main quarterback, like, you know,
I thought I got hit in the throat and the coaches didn't see bullshit answer. I wanted to, all right, you don't get to start next game, you little bitch. Like, come on. If you
Okay,
were
I
come
mean,
on.
how much?
He's
you were
a
really that
rookie,
injured,
guy.
we
pay
say
down.
how no.
He's
You
a
cannot
fucking
use that
rookie.
excuse anymore, Booper.
You
We
can't use
talked
that
about
excuse
it.
for a
You
fucking
cannot.
press conference. So you can use the excuse of after game
technically a
press
rookie.
conference is
Let
not
me-
something that should be.
Let me Chris this. He's technically a rookie on one more week.
No,
So
he
Ruben-
is, but
Through the
an
coaches.
after a game press conference should not be a focus of detriment.
Thank you.
No, but like
What do you mean?
he's been-
Thank you.
He was
It
actually
You're
shouldn't be, but it
fucking-
was.
no. He said it was.
You were
But-
the one that's called him out for it.
No. But the media has called him out too.
No, I
Of what-
don't-
That's what I'm trying to say. A lot of stuff that's happening.
He's been
Ben-
exemplary all year. He's been saying the
No,
right
he has
thing.
not.
Yes, he has.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck
Oh,
you
yes,
for
he
being
has.
saying it.
He's
His
the only
body
one
like-
that actually
Oh,
speaks
let me fall
correctly
back
in
on
press
my- Let
conferences.
me fall back. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh,
Brother,
where's-
we've
oh.
already been through this in the group chat, and I proved you wrong every single time. And I'm not a Caleb guy. Those hits were, oh fuck me, I just got rocked by a linebacker. Not, oh my receivers suck. Oh my team sucks. Oh everything sucks. That was him getting hurt and him going.
Yes, I gotta do this one more week and 4 more years.
The first time, this last game against Seattle, he had some bad fucking vibes at the end of the game. I will say that. He did.
was very
But-
pissy and frustrated, but the score was 6-3.
But
so I
end of
fucking
game
get it.
pressers should not be media shit because
I'm
that
saying
there
get
are
that shit out of
fucking
them
down in the
alone.
dump. They're down in the dump.
You
They're gonna
say
say
that-
things that they don't mean.
You
but-
say that, but we criticize the coach in those scenarios. So why can't the players get the
Because
same
the
treatment?
ultimate responsibility is on the coach to make his players play better and his players to like be prepared for these types of questions. He doesn't.
And for the
Thomas
record,
Brown is
the
on the hook for
The
that.
reason why Eberflus got so criticized is because he said this shit in the after game presser and then went 2 days later in an interview and said everything I said in that presser was correct. It's because he was an idiot.
He doubled
So-
down.
He
doubled
down on
dumb
it.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, in America, we reward that. But anyway,
Okay, moving on. Polls. Where do we stand? You want him gone? Keep him gone? Where are we
I
at?
want to be last. I want to be last because I feel like you guys are going to go longer than I am.
No, I'm gonna be last. I oppose the question, so I'm
No,
gonna be
I already
last.
said- I already called
I'll,
dibs.
I'll start then because get this fucking moron out of here. Okay, what has he done in free agency? Keenan Allen? Has that been a good thing?
Technically, it
Montez?
has been a
No,
good thing.
decent
How many
pickup.
drops does he have? Like,
He has
give me
still-
get the fuck out of here. If he
It's not
caught
just
all
one of
those
those
Hey,
drops.
put
like,
some
give me a-
respect on the second half MVP up there, okay? Put some
Get
respect
the
on his
fuck out
name.
of here. Keenan
You
Allen
can't tell me
drops
he's
too
not
many
the best
balls.
offensive player we've had in the second half of the team. Like, you can't say that.
I feel like you're in a sense. I know you're right, Ben, because if Keenan's not on the team, the ball might be spread out more. But the bottom line is he's been the safety valve for Caleb
All right,
That's what I was
fine,
gonna say. How would it have gotten spread out?
Fine.
because your tight end would have been used.
DeAndre
He's not
Swift.
even being used now.
You guys
That's
wanna
because
talk about
Keenan's on the
DeAndre
field. I
Swift?
said it from the very beginning, but you don't give me credit for it. Keenan was
Hey.
brought in to be the safety
Hey.
valve, not Cole Kmet, which
People,
was stupid.
we have a guest on the show. Be respectful. Ben, go ahead.
Okay,
Fuck him. No, I'm
DeAndre
kidding.
Swift. Awesome. Nate
Hey,
Davis. Awesome.
Hang on, Nate Davis sucks, but DeAndre Swift, come on, he's been average. He's been
We're celebrating average, guys.
I'm going to say he's been below average, but I'm also going to say that I think the offensive line plays a bigger role in that than you're giving him
Agreed.
credit for.
I'll give you that.
Okay, I hadn't even gotten to that shithole yet. But let's go offensive line. Give me a fucking break. He's a former offensive lineman who said this is the deepest offensive line room he's ever
He
been a
did
part
say
of.
that.
He is so far in over his head. Get
Okay.
him the fuck out of here.
First of all,
That's free agency. Let me
First
talk
of
about
all,
the draft.
deepest does not mean most talented. Let's all preface this, because if you have a shitty offensive lineman and you have a kind of shitty offensive lineman, that could be very much deep of shittiness, but they're still deep.
I will say this.
I think
Braxton-
Nate Davis fucked him. Let's start there, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
But
that was the biggest
no,
loss.
I disagree.
That-
You don't
that-
fuck somebody when someone
We-
signs you in
we-
free agency. That's called
we paid him-
research.
We paid him $10 million a year. He was supposed to be a
Time out
guard.
though. We all said that was a
like-
decent contract. We can't
No,
ignore that.
he had a
I-
good
no,
he had a good track record in Tennessee
That's-
before when we
that's
signed
fine,
him.
but we all
The
agreed
first-
that was a good pickup. You
first
can't do
year-
that.
The first year,
But-
we're gonna have to give him a pass because we don't really know. It's some family bullshit, right? Maybe his mom died. Maybe his wife died. Nobody fucking knows. They don't- they
No,
don't-
someone knows. I think his mom died.
What do they say? Okay, his mom died. All
There
right.
was a death in the family.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, no one really knows, and that shouldn't impact an entire season. But whatever. We're gonna give him a pass because, we really don't know all the details. This year doesn't show up for training camp on time. Doesn't show up for OTAs. Doesn't do fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. And then when he actually does play, he's terrible. He's one of the lowest graded linemen we have, and that includes Kieran Amangaji, who I hated to take in the third round. By the way, you guys remember that? I said that was the worst pick he's ever done. That beats Velus Jones, and that dog shit player is serving burgers at McDonald's somewhere.
No,
He's
still in
only
the
a
NFL.
rookie. I'm not gonna crucify him yet.
Brother,
But
they
to your
used
point-
a third round
To your point,
Oh,
like
He
they
was third
said,
round.
to your point, with as bad as our offensive line and team was, you shouldn't be taking a project in the third round. You should be getting somebody that can make an impact on this team on either the defensive or offensive side of the ball, not taking a project.
We even said that I think he values the picks a lot different than what other GMs do, because if you're willing to give up so many thirds for failed moves,
Seconds.
he is the definition of a reacher. He reaches for every fucking one of his picks. Like this. Let's say Booker pans out to be a middle of the line DN. He came back into the fourth round to get
Fifth.
No, he gave up a fifth to go into the fifth next year.
Oh,
okay,
No.
we're gonna get into the nits and gritty. I don't care too
Or
much
was,
I think
about
that's
that.
right.
was it a fourth next year to get into the fifth this year? Regardless,
Irrelevant.
the pick isn't working.
yes,
out.
we don't
He
have a
has
fourth
done-
this year, so that's what it
done
was.
Nothing. He's done nothing this year. Whatever.
It's just sad.
Zach Pickens, bust of a
Bad.
third round pick. Javon
Bayless
Dexter
Jones,
has
bust
been-
of a third round pick.
Javon Dexter has been his best pick, and he's been okay. He's not.
No, he's better than okay.
he's
Come on,
better than
dude.
Not better than
okay.
okay.
He's
not
better than okay.
Doesn't he lead
Okay.
our team in sacks?
Yes, with fucking 4. When Billings went down, he hasn't done shit. He hasn't done shit since Billings went down. Like, don't give me he's great. He needs the rest of the.
I
D-line
didn't
to
say he
play
was
better.
great, but he's better than okay.
He's not better than okay. dude.
He's literally probably one of the best defensive players on this team.
Okay, so Ben,
Who's better? Don't say Sweat.
No.
The only person you can say is JJ, and he's gotten burnt these last few weeks.
All right, we have to go to pretty fucking false.
Okay,
Go ahead, Boopin.
go ahead, Boopin.
I am looking it up as you guys do.
Okay, I'll go, Chris, since you want to go fucking last.
Thank you.
So my thought on polls is this. You have two options if you're going to be Kevin Warren. One, you fire him. And at this point, I think I'm probably about 60% on to fire him. The other one is I think you need to publicly come out and sign him to at least a 3 or 4 year extension. There's two routes you can go, because you either need to say you're cutting bait or you need to say I'm doubling down with this guy. You can't play this fucking game where you bring in a new head coach and then you fire the GM. So in my opinion, I think it's time to just cut bait, because I think things have gotten really bad here. Let's start fresh with a new GM and new coach. But if you do decide to keep him, you need to do something publicly so you're not affecting your new head coach that you're bringing in. Because having him, to Chris' point, as a lame duck GM, which he would basically be going into next season, you can't have that and bring in a real head coach into this situation.
Well, that was going to be my other point, was this is the chance to break the cycle of GM, then brings in a new coach, then brings in a new quarterback, right? We never line those three things up. They're always year, right? This is our chance because his coaching hires have been abysmal, right? How many?
That is a
coaches have we fired?
fucking fact.
Like, how many coaches have we had to fire? Like 14, some stupid shit like that? Like, it's nuts.
How many have we fired in season?
Well, the first time ever we fired a head
2
coach.
this year, 2 last year. That's what, like 4 or 5 not head coaches, but coaches that have been fired in season.
Prominent
Like-
coaches, OCs, DCs, head coach. Like, it is atrocious. You cannot let this man make another decision in this organization. It
You
is
guys
beyond
are making me
all.
a false defender, and I don't want to be that person, right? But Eberflus was not his hire.
wrong.
I will stand on that tadpole or that
He
totem pole.
stamped it.
Guys are
Yes,
wrong.
this decision was finalized when Poles was hired.
He was narrowed down to 3 choices. It
Okay,
wasn't.
So if you guys
it
are
was-
gonna listen to the score and all that shit, then
No. This
No,
is
what
on
I'm saying
Reddit
is-
today.
What I'm saying is a source from the score or the Chicago Times said that Poles wanted Flus from the get-go, even though he was already one of the top 3.
I believe there
he
was a
still
report
wanted-
out there. Yes.
It was by one of the big names in Chicago. Big name.
No,
reporter.
you're right. It was. I think
He
it's full of
picked
shit.
him. Okay, so this one article is full of shit. Everything else is true, except the one
Obviously.
thing that proves you wrong.
Obviously.
I mean, we don't want to tell Miller about the FBI stuff all over again because that.
Obviously. I
Um,
just think when you come in and your bosses say these are the 3 guys that we think are best fit for this organization,
And you're
you take
brand
the
new
reins.
on the roll.
The
Yeah,
fuck
you
are
are
you gonna
brand-
do?
Yeah.
You're gonna say no, I don't like these
You-
3
we
guys and
could-
move on?
The report
We could
is
blame
he had
him.
He had full authority to say, nope, I interviewed them. I don't think they're right. I can do more. Right?
Full authority.
Kevin
Yeah.
Warren wasn't there at the time. It
I
was
know,
just-
Ben, but again, we're going to go back to the said. If your boss comes to you, hey, these 3 guys are who I think are best for this position, are you going to say, I don't like any of them and move
You
on
mean your
as a
boss,
first
George
MGM?
McCaskey, who has no fucking clue on how football is
And
even
Ted
played?
Phillips at that time, who has even more
Oh.
clue. I'm just,
Ted Phillips.
I
Listen,
mean,
I knew
I
we
get
were
the
gonna go this
reporting.
route.
You're
I
making my
get the
point for me.
reporting, but that's just what I'm thinking. That's the
Okay,
mindset Boopin has. Boopin, continue with your defense of polls.
No, I was not going to defend him. And you guys have made great points. Like he may have hit on some picks here and there. Like
Name
not
one.
no. Like I think Caleb is his best pick, right? That's going to be his maker or breaker.
Maybe.
But beyond that, I give you the stats. Jervon is right above average. Like that seems to be his goal. Like find
40,
average
45th
is
45th as a DN. When teams have 2 DMs, you're talking about 64 DNs. He's 45th out of 64. That's not
Starting
above
DNs.
average.
Yeah.
Come
well,
on,
like
guys.
they have 218
Come on, guys.
Stop
DI.
cherry picking one year when the entire defense is trash. We all, well, I don't know about Ben. Ben may not have,
What else do
but
you
everybody
know?
else here liked that trade when it was made. Montez Sweat has been a consistent 7+
Talking about
sack guy.
Talking about Jervon Dexter.
We're
not-
talking about
Oh,
someone else.
sorry, I was looking at my phone.
Okay.
All right. Show us the
My
whiskey
only-
cup. Hold
no,
on. Show
no.
us the whiskey cup just to make
It's
sure we
gone.
know
What
where
do
it's
you
at.
think? It's
It's
fucking
Good
gone.
Lord.
Hang on. My only point with polls, and like Ben kind of touched it, is like what I don't want to happen is like Caleb's brand new. We've done this same thing with Mitch. We did the same thing with Fields. Like don't want this to happen is like Caleb is saddled with a brand new GM, a brand new coach, and then we have to figure out what the coach is. Like Flus is gone. If it was up to me, maybe Flus would have one more year. Give Poles and Flus one more year, figure out what they can do. But since that's not the case, I want Poles here, at least for some continuity for Caleb. He had an idea. Here's what we looked at. At least let him download that fucking information to the new coach, saddle him to succeed, and like next year if we are having the same conversation, God forbid, then we pull the plug on him.
Because then you get a new GM with a coach he didn't hire and a quarterback. He
You're
didn't
running
draft.
into the same
It's
scenario.
the same
yeah.
fucking
Well,
thing. So
it's like
either-
one better
here's the
right
two
now.
scenario- Boopin, here's the two
There's one better
scenarios.
right now.
Here's the two scenarios. You fire Poles, get a new GM, new coach with a second-year quarterback. That's as close as you're going to get. Or you
Which
let
we did
Poles
with
stay
both
for 3
Fields and
years,
Mitch. We did both of them.
Or you let Poles stay, hire his own coach, and those 3 are then tied. And at the end of Caleb's rookie contract,
Yes, that's what I want.
All 4 are up for or 3 are
That-
gone.
One thing
Ben
I
and
want to say.
agree on something.
No, I
First.
agree, Ben. That's what I want to do. But here's what I would say too: we gotta stop being so reactionary. And I am guilty of this too. When Eberflus fucking cost us 4 games in a row or whatever, it was dumb. Looking back, sacking him mid-season maybe was the right case, right? We gotta stop. Good organizations, obviously, they take ownership, blah blah blah, change the ship, but they don't do this shit. They don't fire the coaches every 3 years. They don't fire the GMs every 3 years. We gotta stop. If you want to build something that's great for generations to come, this is not the way to do it.
Yeah,
We need to
Boobin,
shit.
I love that thought process, but teams in those situations don't have 12 wins over 3 seasons.
True. I'm not saying we have an amazing product, but I'm saying I think when Lions decided to keep this GM and coach, they were on 3 and whatever 4, right? They picked second overall that year. They picked Aiden Hutchinson, didn't they? They had a terrible year, but the ownership didn't go, well, you won us 4 games last year. We're going to get rid of you, right?
2 years. They had
2 years.
2 shitty years.
They did not get rid of him, right? Either of them gave him
But then they
a
turned
third
it
year.
around.
I know, but we don't give people. I think again, I'm willing to say that. We haven't had a consistent GM, coach, and quarterback relationship consistently for so many
Didn't we
years.
have Pace for 11 years? We gave him opportunity.
We didn't
But,
have pace for 11.
It was 8. It was something. It was
But
a long.
I think it was
term.
like
Hang on.
6-8, something like that.
I actually broke it down. I think I sent it to the guys off our GM, head coach, and quarterback. Since Cutler days, we haven't aligned on the quarterback, GM, and coach being hired with the same vision in mind. We have done this 3 times over with high draft picks. I don't want to go through that cycle again. If we keep doing this, we will not be a successful team.
So you want the head coach, you want him to be extended then, is what I'm hearing.
He is here for the next couple of years, isn't he? Is he on an expiring
2 more.
contract?
Well, he can still get fired.
Pace was
No one
hired
knows
in
his contract.
2015, by the way, so it was 8 years.
Yeah.
So
But,
but that's what you're saying, Boopin. So you're on board with him staying for 3 years.
Yeah, give him the keys to the fucking kingdom, and then put his head
Okay.
on the chopping block.
So-
If it
Chris,
doesn't work
go.
out.
So
But then you can't have Kevin Warren making decisions if you're gonna do that. You can't have say Kevin Warren is the man.
You can have a consult.
No, you can't because he's
The report
clearly-
is that the reporting is that he's not making the decisions. Poles is making
we
the
all
decision.
saw that. We all saw the press conference. Daddy.
Oh my
spoke,
God! Stop
and the
talking
baby
about the goddamn press conference, please. I'm tired
So-
of hearing about that press conference.
so
Everyone
here's-
goes back to this stupid press
here's-
conference.
Here's the issue. You guys have great points. Fantastic points. Some may even say we should be GMs. Here's the issue.
No one says that.
The issue is that at the end of the year, it's not just a Caleb situation. The defense is broken, the offense is broken, and at some point we even have to consider a new kicker because
You can't even
there's
attempt
other
40-yarders.
there's other kickers that are out there. So this is considered to me a full rebuild. So if
we're
you were to
technically
keep
in the middle of it, Boopin. He's right.
so my thing is that if you fire Poles and you bring in a new GM and a new coach, that is going to bring a new mentality of what needs to be fixed first, whether it's the defense, then the offense, or if you're going to cater to Caleb first and then the defense is going to be behind it. You're going to run into that situation. If Poles stays for the amount of time that Caleb is here, which we're going to say it's another 3 years minimum.
Like 10 years. He's a franchise guy.
Well, what? 3
So
years. 3 years at this point. Do we think Poles can turn it around in 3 years? That's the question.
Yes.
I have no
Miller?
confidence in Poles.
I think there's a possibility.
I think
Based on what?
there's a possibility as well, but I think we are probably going to end up firing Poles, just because of how bad this season was.
Give me one positive that Poles has brought to the team other than salary cap, because he did do a good job on that.
He brought us a number one wide receiver.
He
Our
He got us
offense
a number
made-
one.
What's
One
how,
pick.
many yards,
Good.
how many yards does he have this year? Let me double check on that.
That's
because
irrelevant. How
Are
many?
you
did he have
really gonna?
last year?
Are you
can't
really
look
gonna
at it
sit
one
here
year.
and say that he's
You
not
can't
a
look
bona
at it one
fide
year.
number one wide receiver in the league?
No, I agree with you that he is. But you guys are sitting here trying to tell me that the offense is broken, the defense is broken, and this is his third fucking year trying to fix this, and he's anywhere closer to getting it done. Don't
This
tell
year
me that.
was no. This year was definitely a step
Special
back.
teams sucks. I mean, it's
This-
beyond pathetic. He's drafted 2 punters. We can't make a field goal. We can't even attempt one over 50 yards. Like, what are you talking about? This team
Wait.
sucks, and Poles is to blame.
Wait,
The
he
thing-
drafted Mega
thing-
Punt too?
The
He
thing
drafted
is,
Trenton Gill and the new guy, Torrey Taylor. He's drafted 2 guys in 3 years that are punters, brother. Fire his ass.
My thing
I
with
will
me-
be sad if he's gone. I think like it tips. We
Why,
are a
'cause you
step
don't like
behind.
winning?
No, because I think we're a step behind. Caleb thing, even if it pans out, we are probably one more year behind in the process. At least with him, I feel like we are in a shitty place, but at least on the way forward. I think that if you get a new GM and coach, you have to go back to ground zero. And I don't know, that's a step back for Caleb and the team, at least for me.
the thing is though, is that again,
Like, and
what,
like,
but
okay,
Boopin, what is more
ha-
important right now,
hang on.
defense or offense?
I don't know, like right now,
Offense.
offense probably.
Offense. So even if our defense is dog shit, we're not going to be in the top 3 of the NFC North. So it's not like anything we do this next year is not going to matter. So
I mean,
you either
You don't
either
know
get rid
that.
of
Like,
Pol-
fucking
no, hold on. you
Washington
can't-
was in a fucking hole, dude. You don't know that shit.
Washington had new fucking owners. They were
Like,
willing to
no
try
one,
something
no
new.
one
That's
saw
different.
this coming. No one saw this coming. You don't know where we'll be next year. I take offense to you saying offense is broken, defense is broken. We have some solid pieces on both sides. Is it perfect? No, but like it's not broken. Like what is fucking broken? Like we have
More
not put
wins.
together. We have not put together a team together that like competes on an elite level. I get
Boopin,
that.
we
but
have.
It's not
what are you trying to
broken.
s- Boopin, we put a team out there that we felt collectively was 1 game under 500.
Yes, I still
Collectively.
stand by it. I still stand by that.
Right.
Even with a very competitive NFC North, I still stand. There were like many games that we were close, and something like coaching, whatever, failed us. Like we didn't win those games. Maybe Caleb failed us in some games. Like
If you take
but-
the 6 games out of the NFC North out of it, we're still a losing record. That's wrong.
That's what I'm trying to say.
we lost some games that we should have won. Arizona, Patriots. I get that. I'm saying, but like saying offense is broken, defense is broken, like got the team. I don't think I agree with that. I don't think that's where we are. I think it's a very like simplistic look on a very complex process of
You
rebuilding
have to
a
look
team.
at it like that though,
You
because if
you
cannot.
don't.
You
yes,
cannot.
you do.
You
So wait,
cannot just
so
say
we all agree
it's
offense
not
needs
black
to be
and white.
Hold on. Time
So-
out.
You cannot say-
No, time out. So we're all agreeing offense needs to be fixed first, right?
No.
Wait. What is
O-line,
fixed
D-line
first?
needs to be fixed first.
What
O-line-
is, offense is a very broad category.
Offense.
What does that mean?
Anything in the offensive section.
Also define
outside-
fixed, please.
outside
Please.
of coaching,
How do you?
outside of
yeah.
coaching, the only things that really need to be fixed on offense is the interior O-line, right? And the same thing on defense. The biggest problem we have is the D-line, whether it's the 3-tech, the nose tackle, or the
Okay,
other
so
end,
here's
opposite
but here's
side
what
of
I'm
the
saying.
sweat.
You're bringing a new coach. You're going to have probably a different type of offense. We don't know if the current players are going to fit that scheme. Okay, that's an honest.
Offensive. No, that's not.
A
That's
good-
not
a
fair.
good coach
Hold on.
doesn't need to have his players fit the scheme.
You're
He
that's
adapts the scheme.
that is
That's what I'm
that
saying.
is fine.
It's all
That's
on
fine.
coaching.
That's fine. You can say that, but there's always going to be a coach that's going to want to put their stuff in there. The last 3 coaches that we've had always seem to have screens that don't work. So there's
But
there's
that
a bunch
has
we could go
more to
into.
do with the quarterback learning the scheme than it does with the players.
Right.
A wide receiver, the scheme doesn't matter if you're a good wide receiver.
But if you bring
a tight end doesn't matter if you're a good wide receiver. The scheme doesn't matter. Offensive line scheme doesn't matter for offense if you're a good offensive lineman. The defensive side of the ball, it does matter because you have the 4-3-3-4 dynamic, and not everybody is used to that. So the scheme on an offensive doesn't matter except the quarterback's ability to learn it.
If you bring a coach that's going to follow what Caleb is more comfortable with, the scheme on the offensive side will change.
The scheme, of course, is going to change, but Caleb
so you-
should
you're-
be able
but
to
that's-
adapt and learn it.
Should be. But
You
we
don't need
know
to
if
bring
he's
in new
able to.
players.
We should,
But
but we don't
also-
know if he's able to at this time.
I mean, that's fair, but the assumption should be that he should be able to.
But a counter argument then is Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels. So
Yep.
2 new guys to a new system, and they're
Yep.
thriving. Like there are.
No, Cliff isn't doing a new system, is he?
Yeah, Cliff wasn't the coach at. He was the coach at
USC.
USC. So he's in a pro now.
Well, it's not Cliff's system, right? It's like Dan Quinn's system,
Dan
right?
Quinn's a defensive guy.
But like he's the head coach, though.
Yeah, but Dan Quinn is a defensive coordinator turned head coach.
But he's still the head
Kingsbury-
coach.
Yeah, but
And-
Kingsbury runs the offense, not.
But like
Quinn.
one thing I will say, Miller, I agree with most of your points. Like Shanahan's system, I just learned today that Purdy cannot change the protection. Like what the O line is doing in a certain play that's happening. So like Purdy now has to like keep that in mind. Like maybe he can shift a tight end to block someone who's free blitzing, but the O line does what it does. And Ben, I was thinking of that. Caleb taking stupid sacks. If you know this O line is going from here to here, and then I need to figure out how to do plays. I maybe Purdy is not a genius. Maybe he is, but like maybe that cleans it up for Caleb to be like, well, I can't go fucking there because he's there. I'm gonna go this way. That's what I was thinking. That might change Miller, like depending on who we bring in. If the O line, can he change the line protection before the play and stuff like that? That might change. Other than that, I agree with you. But I think like Chris, to Miller's point, like it's very like. The only thing broken in this offensive line that we can probably fix is like interior offensive line. And yes, they look dog shit in some games, but by the numbers, like they're probably like not as bad. Like, but like they look dog shit.
I've never seen a new system get brought in where there's just an overhaul. I've never seen someone just come in and say, hey, with the pieces that we have, we're going to be successful. A coach will always want to put their kind of handprint, bring the people that they're comfortable with, know the players that'll fit the system. They'll always try to bring that preference first, install the system. And that's what I'm saying. You're going to have a coach that's going to want to do that. Same thing.
McDaniels did it down in Miami. He didn't bring in new pieces except Tyreek Hill in his 3rd year.
Yeah, but wasn't McDaniels also part of the same system? Like, wasn't he part of the same coaching tree?
No, they had
No.
Brian Flores the year before they hired
Yeah.
McDaniels.
Okay,
He's a
then-
DC guy.
Okay, then I'll still stand by my statement. I haven't
Also,
like
Chris, I don't think a coach gets to bring in a player. There's cap. There's so many things. You can't just bring in players that you want to, especially star players. No one has that cap.
you're not
space.
going to
Maybe
bring star players though. There's not going to be a star
Well, the
player to
Bears-
be had.
The Bears
Like,
could because we have the one of the largest amount of cap space. We can
And,
bring
like, top
in big
10.
names.
we can.
we
but
can, but like
I don't
no
know.
coach that comes in will just be like, I need this 10 players, right? They may get three like average players or players that did really well in the system. I don't think he's just gonna be like, here's a blank check, get 10 players. No one's gonna give him that too.
I mean, we need another running back because either Roshan can't stay healthy or Swift is not the answer to a full-time back. We need another tight end because Gerald Everett isn't it, and Mercedes Ludus is a T3, whatever. But we need a second tight end. Other than that, like the interior O line is really the only thing I'm extremely worried about.
I don't know.
There's not.
I'm starting to get on the left tackle bandwagon.
I don't fine, but then kick Braxton into left guard then.
Long story
You know what I mean?
short,
Like,
long story
he's still
short, I think
serviceable.
No, you can be a swing tackle.
Sure.
long
fine,
story
whatever.
short, I think Poles, if you're gonna keep him, he has to stay the same amount of years as Caleb. He has to
Agreed.
sign an extension.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get rid of Poles now, this is the perfect time to do it, because if you do it next year, it's just gonna hurt the team even more. So
You
it's a
can't do
very-
it next year. You can't do it.
you don't have a choice at this point. That's going to be
Right.
how many seasons where we don't get, it's either playoffs or bust or improvement on Caleb. Like the amount of success that the Bears are going to have, you can't even talk about the NFC North because of the three teams that are in that division. So like, what is success for the GM next year?
Well, the
It
only
used to be
problem is
playoffs. It
he's
used to
not
be a
hitting
winning
on-
record. He's not going to
hitting
hit
on
any
enough
of
draft
that.
picks. He's not hitting on enough draft picks. So if you let him run the team for 3 more years, you're screwing yourself for another 3 after that because the draft picks aren't panning out.
And thank you, Chris, for asking the question on polls. Well, my question was like, what is the success criteria, either for him or the new GM, right? Like we'll have a better schedule next year because we have the 4th place schedule again, but we still have to play NFC North. That is 6 tough games right there, and like a couple other top teams. So like we'll probably be middle of the road in terms of our strength of defense. But like, what does that look like? 500 record good enough? Like, be in the playoff for like good enough? Like we need to like think of what that looks like.
That's what I'm
But-
saying. So right now, what is success for the Bears for next season?
I think
And I
Caleb
swear,
is
if
the
I hear
answer.
like if Caleb Williams breaks a quarterback record and all that, I'm sorry, that's not good enough for me anymore.
What?
I mean, okay, that you can
If
say
Caleb throws for 4,000 yards next year, it's not good enough for you?
No,
Okay. Well, I don't know what I'd help you.
that. Like,
I
what do you
mean-
want the team to win, like playoffs, or what do you want? What do you think the success?
The
no,
most
you guys tell me as a team, what is the definition of success for next year?
I think about 500. I think that's doable. It'll be tough, but I think that's what we need to shoot for.
Miller?
I don't know. I'm still listening to Chris talk in the studio chat. Shout out, buddy. Good job. You have some points, but a lot of bad
Yeah,
ones.
we're ignoring some of the shit because you're saying it and it's pissing me off. So you're being ignored by me. I'll be honest. If you want to talk shit about players, about being dog shit, go ahead. But don't talk about like
don't use
putting in-
slurs.
don't use slurs, bro. You're one away from being banned, and I'm fine doing it myself.
Success for next season coming off of a 4 and I don't know. I don't know how much I need to see. I need to see. I need to see wins. I do. But if Caleb comes out and throws 4,000 yards, I think I would be happy.
Okay, if we're talking strictly what we want to see for improvement, it just has to be consistency. It can't be no points scored in the first half every single game.
Facts. That's true. That's a good point.
Like, even if it's 10 points in the first half, that's still a huge improvement over this year. And so if you can get a consistently better offense and a defense that actually has like a clue of what they're doing, even if we don't get the win totals that we need, but we play better games, and it's fun to watch football. That's
Right,
an
a complete
improvement.
game. Yeah, like I had said, look competitive, and like I think
Yes.
the couple of games before, shit fucking went wrong. Like when like Brown was promoted and he was like doing better with Caleb. I think those were the best games of the season. Like, yes, we didn't start off quick, but we were competitive. We were in the game till some fluky shit happened, and we lost the game. And those are the best games of the year. I would love to see that. Like, I don't know why we start so slow. These are the plays you work on all week.
Coaching, dude.
15 scripted dumb plays. Like,
Preparation.
Yeah.
the fuck? Like
Yeah.
that's so pathetic. But like again, I think maybe you're right. Goes back to
Back to preparation, being prepared for the game. They make great adjustments at halftime, but don't lead the way. We need to wrap this shit up. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
we're-
Packers. Are we
let's
all
talk
on
about
board of them winning this week?
Yep. I like where this is going already.
I mean, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. It's the last week of the season. Let's go balls to the wall. Navy blue and orange all day long. I'm gonna go Bears 59, Packers 2.
Jesus.
Why
Christ,
stop
dude.
at 59? Go all the way.
4 pick sixes and Caleb's not gonna score a touchdown.
4
Ah,
pick sixes.
Okay, let's ask the big question
Okay.
first. Can we stop Josh Jacobs from another 200-yard game?
No, because we've even gotten worse than when we faced him the
Yeah.
last.
So you're 59-2. Probably has to wait there. Let's see. Like, can we sustain drives? Put up points? Like, first quarter, second quarter. I don't give a shit.
Well, here's the
like-
other thing. Jair Alexander was hurt 90% of the game we played against him. So if he's healthy in this game, like
He hasn't been
don't think
healthy
it's
for a while.
I don't think it's a matter
I don't
of-
think he's coming back. Dude, I don't think
Something
they
is-
have anything to play for, right?
no,
seeding.
other than positioning.
Yeah, seeding.
But they're
They-
not
they
going to
could-
risk an injury to him over seeding because they're not going to get home field advantage no matter what.
They're definitely
think
not
there's-
winning the.
There's it's
But the
basically
Commanders have a layup, don't they?
It doesn't matter because the top 3 divisions get the bye, and then the other one's going to either be the Vikings or the Lions. So
It's
they're-
for
Well, what
home
I'm saying
playoff.
is the
home playoff
Packers
spot.
are the 7th and the Commanders are the 6th. And I think the
No, it's
Commanders
the
have
other
a
way around because the Commanders only have 10 wins.
so do the Packers.
No, they have 11.
I don't think that's right. I looked at this today.
I thought I looked at it today too.
Well, I'm gonna go with the Packers, 30-14.
30-14. That seems like a good score.
Like as much as we want to talk good about, honestly, I just want this
Green
game. I
Bay,
want
they're
this
both
season to
11 and
be-
5.
That's right. I forgot. they have
Washington
Commanders
is
one.
ahead of
Yeah.
the Packers.
I think-
And the Commanders have the Cowboys.
well, the Packers would have had a higher strength of schedule, correct?
No, obviously not, because
Oh,
Washington's
wait.
ahead of them.
Did Washington beat the Packers? Because that would be the tiebreaker because we played each other this year.
Probably then. Yeah, that could be right.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's what it was.
Well,
We have a bot in our chat. It's fucking great.
It's not wrong though.
Yeah, I think the Packers win. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say I think the Bears are actually gonna show up. I think the offense might actually do something, aka score 17 points. And I think we lose 23-17.
I mean, I love your optimism. What's the positive here? We've had 10 days to prep for this game. That's why we show up.
No, it's our Super Bowl, dude.
I don't-
Super Bowl interdivision game against a team that we should have beat last time.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck. I'll go on the bandwagon. Let's say, I don't know what the over-under is. Whatever. Bears win 23-20.
I said Packers win, right?
You did.
I believe you said yes.
Okay.
What? After all that shit you
I
said?
will go. I will go with a real score. I will also pick the Bears because it would be this year that we get to screw over the Packers because we have nothing to play for. So I will say I'm gonna go with a 30 bomb, and that does include a defensive touchdown. I'm gonna go with a 30 bomb against 27 to the Packers. We win in a last drive field goal. End of the clock.
Wow, they don't block it this time?
Yeah, that would be fucking hilarious.
No,
That was a stupid call.
No, I got it, guys. It'll be
Oh,
like
God.
a field goal to win the game, right? Everyone's set up. They try to block it. We fake it, run it in for the touchdown.
It hits Komet, who is the long snapper, and he goes on a streak.
Love it. Oh God.
All right, on that dreamy note, I think it's time for us to sign off. Boys, it's been fun doing this with you. Bears season has not given us much fun, but doing this is definitely the highlight of my week. So thanks
I
for
will
trudging
agree with
along.
that.
Thanks for trudging along. Sometimes these arguments, we care deeply and goes a little deeper than we want to. But hey, we are here. We are suffering just like you are. Like Chris said, we'll learn from this season and we'll like come back better next year. One thing I
not.
want to do is like one thing I will do next year, I promise, is when people say shit that I'm always right and stuff like that, I'll start taking note of that and then bring up next time being like, remember when you said that? I'm gonna start doing that more. I feel like
You're gonna
That's what
have
we
to take
need.
a lot of notes there, brother.
I'm okay with that. I got a fucking notepad. open right
that's Chris's bank. He just takes spaghetti and throws it against the wall. One of them might stick, and he rides that to the
Hey.
end of the day.
We
One thing-
ride until we can't anymore.
One thing Boopin said that I hope comes across is, despite us having differences of opinion on how things should change, we all want the Bears to win so badly.
so bad.
So
Well, I don't know about that. Sometimes in the chats, I don't know. But you all just are fucking trollers.
I don't know.
Boopin's
Listen,
probably the only
this-
non-troll here.
Hold on,
I
no,
am
there's this.
genuine when I say this.
I laughed when I saw this. Hold on, where is it?
Wait, one more
This
Caleb
right
said,
here.
okay?
This right here, Don Burr. I mean, he's not wrong. And then they're
He's
doing
a
the,
fucking bot,
He
dude.
is a bot.
he's
He's a
he's
part of
doing
a
the
couple other
whole
YouTube
like.
channels.
Listen, it's fine. Listen, I want to thank the bots for coming over here.
It
Yeah, that means
Um,
we're
watch
doing
numbers.
something
We
right.
get the viewership up. Thank you. You guys are like saying like, oh, who's watching? We got people that actually give a shit and they're just joining us for the fun. You guys can go ahead and talk about painting nails and stuff like that. Obviously, you have other shit that bothers you, and hey, more support to you. You're gonna need it more than we are. We're having a good time here. If my whole thing is you can shit on Caleb, I shit on Caleb all the time, but I will never do what you guys are doing. So, and I think most of Chicago fans are the same way. And if they're not, if they want to talk about players in that line, how you guys have been botting and trolling, you guys are not really Bear fans. And for Detroit, it's about fucking time you guys did something productive. I mean, it took you years.
Do you guys
They haven't done
remember-
anything
Congrats.
productive yet.
do you guys
They're about to
remember
get-
when I s-
they're
when I
about to
said
get
at
the
beginning of
first-
season that I would paint my nails if Caleb got us 12 wins this year?
But I'm saying, but like, don't come in
That
here and
holds true for
talk
next
about.
season, too.
Don't be homophobic in this stream. Like, don't like if you're gonna put other names that have nothing to do with sports, like that. That to me is just a fucking
Tell
a
him,
waste
Chris.
of time. So
Yeah,
go
tell
fuck
him, baby.
yourselves.
It's a trio of positivity, motherfuckers.
And I'm positive that I will continue to ban motherfuckers that think they're above that shit. So
Hell yes. Sign us off.
Wait. Cool Caleb said before we go. Looks like he's the second best quarterback in the for fourth downs. Did you guys know that?
okay, you're stretching. All right, guys. With that, thank you guys so much for watching the Trio Positivity podcast. Find our
I
social
swear to
somewhere because we
God.
don't know where the fuck it is. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You guys have a fantastic New Year's. I hope your New Year's resolutions is better than ours because we're probably not going to get a new GM. And we're still going to stuck dog balls. So
We may by next week, though. Who knows?
we'll
We
find
can only
out.
help.
Miller's running, streaking naked if we win.
In my own house? Hell yes.
I'll join you.
Come on.
And those watching on the live stream and on Twitch, thank you guys so much. We're going to end the live stream on YouTube, and then I will be right back on Twitch.
Peace in the Middle East.
You left me running, so I was probably fucking blurry as fuck.
And that's fine.